God, Ricky, come on. You got to be impressed.
I'm impressed.
Not only did they use it, they used the wrong tape.
Oh, that's Jimmy.
It's him, right?
he looked like a professor.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Philly Sports Convo. I'm Jason Lee. This is episode 21. Yes, our little podcast is old enough to drink now. And my guest has been here before. This guy, I actually had to write down all the jobs that he has because I can't remember them all, okay? He's the host of the Farzy Show. He does the Locked On Phillies post-game show. He's going to do a Bet Parks Eagles pre- and post-game with Seth Joyner and Derek Gunn. Let's see, there's greatest sports legends then and now. There's PA announcing for the Wings. I think I got everything. Marc Farzetta, my buddy. Good to see you, man. How are you?
Good to see you. I'm great. Every once in a while, I volunteer with the TSA at the airport, so I do that. I'm a crossing guard occasionally on fill-in purposes only. And other than that, I like to make gelato, and I do that I don't even get paid for that. I just enjoy making it so much. But those are the only other jobs that I do. But I think you pretty much covered it all. Thank you.
I would try your gelato in a heartbeat, man. You probably make some really good gelato.
I dabble. Yeah.
All right, listen, there's a lot I want to get to, and I love talking to you. You and I could talk all night, but in the limited time we have, I mean, look, I obviously want to talk some sports. There's a lot going on with as we're taping this on Wednesday night, there's a lot going on with the Sixers and where they may end up playing in the future. Of course, the Philly stuff. We got some Eagles coming up on Friday night, actually just hours after this gets released on Friday afternoon. But, you know, you have a unique perspective of what's happening in terms of sports radio in Philly. You worked at both major sports stations, and of course the big news lately is Mike Missanelli back at the Fanatic. Did that surprise you? You worked with Mike on an Eagles post-game show. You know Mike, I go back to the WB days, WB 17 with Mike. Were you surprised he came back to the Fanatic?
No. I know that there is a relationship there between Mike and the current program director, Scott Masteller. They go back to ESPN radio days, so they've known each other for quite some time, so I wasn't surprised at all that Mike went back to radio. Plus, things ended with Mike so abruptly, and unfortunately, they ended so abruptly because, I mean, I felt back then, and I still feel the same way. I mean, Mike really made that station. I mean, Mike put the station on the map. There's no doubt about it. So for me, I thought it was very unfortunate that his first tenure, I guess, at 97.5 The Fanatic ended so abruptly because I thought he deserved a much better send-off than what he got. So I felt like there was some unfinished business there. To see him go back to the midday position, I know there had been some rumblings about that position when it comes to middays at the Fanatic in terms of some change. And my friend Bob Cooney was doing a great job there.
He was doing great.
I knew some things would be changed. Yeah, and I knew some things were going to be changing in the not-too-distant future. You just never know the change that is going to be made. But Mike wanted to come back, so 97.5 made the spot available, essentially. And my good friend Bill Colarulo is there now as well, and I couldn't be happier for him. But it just seems like they wanted to do something with their midday show, and Mike Missanelli was available. And if Mike Missanelli is available and willing to come back, then guess what? Mike Missanelli is coming back in a time slot that I guess he would prefer. I mean, look, afternoon drive can be a lot. It definitely, in a personal life standpoint, because I've done mornings and I've done afternoons. The afternoon time slot is odd. The morning show time slot is extremely odd. The midday, you're on everybody else's schedule. There's the people that you would like to go to dinner with, they're available to go to dinner. You could get the rounds of golf in on the weekends, of course. Maybe even jet out a little early and get a late afternoon round in. The midday slot is a good slot to be in.
Oh, no doubt. And you get a full night's sleep. You know, it's great. Full night's sleep, and you don't have to stay obscenely late at work. It is a beautiful thing. And with him in the midday, maybe that leading gives the afternoon show a bump as well. So maybe he can in effect affect 2 day parts. But we'll see what happens. And I want to move to another guy who's on, and we've talked about this before, the Mount Rushmore of Philly sports. The Howard Eskin situation. Look, I know it's well in the rearview mirror at this point, but it still boggles my mind how that all went down, how WIP handled it, how he handled it. You're a guy, you spent a lot of time at WIP. You used to produce for Howard Eskin. I'm just curious, your thoughts on the whole situation and how it was handled.
All right, let me preface this by saying I haven't explored this. This has not been, I know it's been on my radar because obviously it happened, but this is not something I looked into. So I have nothing but speculation on this, but I do, from knowing Howard for as long as I've known him, I'd find it very odd that he would choose to go to Citizens Bank Park to try to meet somebody at all romantically. The way I look at it, and I don't know anything, this is sheer speculation, I just find it odd. If somebody was made to feel extremely uncomfortable, which apparently is exactly what happened, then that person deserves every ounce of compassion thrown in their direction, and rightfully so. Yeah. But the story, for the way some people are also speculating, I find they are going in one direction they're going too far in one direction simply because of how they feel about Howard in general. As someone that knows him personally, as someone that has worked with him, I don't go down that road, because I just find it hard to believe that some people are painting him up to be this horrible monster, and this could be something that is just, unfortunately, one really bad misunderstanding. And like, I've met people that don't even like to be hugged, and I'm a hugger, man. I embrace, you know what I mean? But I meet people every once in a while, like, oh, I'm not a hugger. I'm like, okay. So, I mean, there's also people in the world that you might try to extend a kiss to as a greeting that you feel like you're on that same page with. And this could be that. Is it? I don't know. Right. But I'm not going to go down the avenue of the exact opposite of that, just to mudsling. I feel like this is something that not enough people know exactly what happened. And I would assume the reason more details haven't come out are because of a legal matter. But yeah, I always find it interesting, and I know some other people have expressed this opinion before. We always demand in the media that people are forthcoming. We always demand that people come out and they tell you what happened. And certainly there have been enough athletes in the city that WIP, the Fanatic, myself have talked about, that we have demanded all the information from. Yeah. And then you have something like this happen and everything's really close to the vest. That makes me believe that a similar thing happened to what a lot of players have experienced, which is they put themselves in a bad situation, and they have to be now tight to the vest with it as well. It's unfortunate, but when the lawyers get involved, that's the way it always goes down. Yeah, no. To put a bow on it, I think a lot of people already don't like Howard. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people that love him too, but they're using this opportunity to people that don't like him to really start the mudslinging when they don't know exactly everything that happened. Yeah,
and you make some good points there, and I don't know Howard nearly as well as you do. I've run into him a couple times. He's always been really nice to me. I've got nothing bad to say about the guy. Total respect for his career. For a little while, when my old radio station B101 was when I was working at that big hub, the big Odyssey hub at 2400 Market Street. And I was doing Saturday midday 9 to 2, and Eskin wasn't down the shore, and he was doing his Saturday morning show in the studio. I'd bump into him. Always a nice hello. Always, he was always really nice to me. So, you're right. I don't know what happened, but I just in a way, I kind of, I don't want to say I feel bad for the guy, because I mean, if he did something, it's kind of hard to say you feel bad for him, but I kind of feel bad for the guy, because he is. I think you make a good point. A lot of people are using this to kind of drag him in the mud just because they don't like him. That's a shame.
Yeah, and look, I know that's a jumping off point for a lot of people. I feel like we're living in a society today where everybody feels like they have to say something, and not enough people are just listening. And I feel like we'd go a lot farther if we were just listening every once in a while. And if you hear something that doesn't sit right, then you say it. Yeah. But this is a situation where people don't have the facts. I wish we had more facts. Yeah, me too. Because I would love for this to be a misunderstanding. If it is not that at all, then again, like I said, compassion all around. But the unfortunate part is we don't know. And the unfortunate thing is we also will never know.
You're right.
But bottom line is, here's what we do know. There is a woman that felt extremely uncomfortable because of the situation. And for that, I hope that I hope this is something that does not have a lasting effect for her.
Yeah, no, it's very, very well said. One more sports radio question before we dive into some sports topics. Another guy you used to work with. See, this is how you know, Mark. This is how and it's the same with me. This is how you know you're getting old. It's like so many people. No, I used to work with him. I used to work with him too. but another guy you used to work with.
You know how much you know. You know how else you're getting old. You go bald, Jason, but you don't know about that, do you?
It's really thin back here. I need some of that.
Yeah,
What was
okay.
that Ron Popeil spray that you spray? That's what I need. The hair. What did he call that stuff? Not hairspray, but
Hair in
it's
a can?
spray on hair basically.
Yeah, Larry Anderson did it as a joke on the 93
That's right.
Phillies.
I forgot. So another guy I used to work with, Josh Innes. There's all this rumor,
Yes.
all these rumors that the Fanatic may want to bring him back because he was doing rock and roll radio in St. Louis, and they for some reason they let him go. He's out of a job now. He's looking for a job. Do you think the Fanatic would bring him in, and would Missinelli stand for it? Because we know they couldn't stand each other.
Yeah, that was never a good relationship. I could tell you that, of course. I don't know. I haven't heard that. I know Josh. I saw that he was doing rock in St. Louis, and that's awesome. I know he's always been a huge Cardinals fan, a big St. Louis sports fan, so that's awesome. I saw some people trying to recruit him back to Houston via social media, and look, whatever gets him back on a microphone. Because there's so much talent there, obviously.
I agree. Yeah.
And he absolutely loves the art form that is radio. And I haven't heard that about the Fanatic, but if that's the case, that's fantastic for him. I would be surprised. I will admit, I would be surprised if I heard him. Like if I heard Mike was leaving the studio and Josh was coming in, or Josh was going out and Mike was coming in.
Right.
I'd be very surprised if that ever happened.
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen that. But that's I mean, Josh is a phenomenal radio talent.
Yeah.
A phenomenal radio talent. Certainly knows how to stir that pot, knows how to get that TSL up. That for the people that don't know, time spent listening. So yeah, I haven't heard that yet, but that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, no, I agree. I never met Josh. I don't know the man, but I agree. He's a really talented guy, and I thought the show he did in the afternoon with Tony Bruno, as short-lived as it was, I thought was just great radio. But all right, as we record this on Wednesday evening. Wednesday morning, the story breaks that the Sixers are being wooed by the state of New Jersey to move to Camden with all these tax breaks, almost like $800 million worth of tax breaks. Do you think it's going to happen? I mean, I know it's not for what, like another 8 or 9 years, 2031 or 32, I think is when it would take effect if it does happen. Does it happen? And how do you think Sixers fans would stand for it? And no matter what side of the river are they on, will they ever get out of the second round? That's the better question.
Will they get out of Philly first or the second round of the playoffs? Which happens first?
That's a good question.
That's their poll question right there. I love the idea of a downtown arena. Like if you just I've been across the country covering Sunday Night Football, and I've been in plenty of cities that have downtown arenas, and that's not football arenas, but that's just downtown arenas in general, football stadiums or domes or whatever. The idea of being able to walk around a city and go to a game and then leave a game and walk around a city is awesome to me. I love that. If you're asking me a general question, if I'm in a city, do I want a downtown major sports arena in my city? The answer is an emphatic yes. That really? The economic development that could bring for the bars and the restaurants in the area, for the hotels in the area, a city like Philadelphia that was obviously hard hit by COVID, like many cities across our country, it would absolutely serve to help revitalize the city in that regard. My question is not whether or not a downtown arena is a good idea. My thing is whether or not the city of Philadelphia, the government of our city, are ready to keep people going to games safe, keep traffic patterns flowing throughout the city, make sure there's enough parking around the city, also make sure that there's enough transportation for public transit, and those people on the public transit are safe coming in and out of our city.
Yeah.
My questions more so lie in the city of Philadelphia than more so whether or not it's a good idea to have a downtown arena. It's a great idea. It's a party. Every single night there's an event at a downtown arena. It's awesome throughout a city. It's vibrant. There's people in, there's tourists. It brings those dollars into the city. It's great. And it shows off the city a lot better.
So what about?
But again, my question is not whether or not it's a good idea. It's about whether or not the city itself will be ready for it, whether or not our government officials will put the city of Philadelphia in a good enough spot to be ready for such a thing.
Now, how do you respond to the people who talk about, it's a traffic nightmare if it's in Center City? What do you say to that?
I say good. I pray for traffic. You know what traffic means? Traffic means that your city matters. That's what it means.
Okay.
Traffic means
I never thought about it like that.
Oh no, there's people in my city. Oh, drat. Okay. It's a good thing that people want to come to your city. I have been to enough cities, again, across the country that have the downtown arenas, walkable and all that stuff from Center City. What people don't realize a lot of times is, yes, there's going to be more traffic. I'm not sugarcoating that. But what people don't realize is that when you do have an arena downtown, you're already in a city that has a lot of parking infrastructure. And you could park all over the city, walk to wherever you got to go. Then you walk farther away from the arena to your parking garage, and you drive away. It's not just going to be like one giant parking garage in the middle of the city, just letting people out. It's going to be all over the city. So the traffic does get spread out a little bit. But look, I'm happy to sit in my car for 20 more minutes if it means that people are spending money at a bar, at a restaurant, at a hotel. If there's a business that it hasn't been making dollars, now they're making dollars because there's more clientele coming into the city. The one that's move money around, essentially, and that's what a lot of people that are against the arena are saying. This isn't going to make more money or generate more money for the city, but it's going to move money around. Instead of money being made in South Philly at the sports complex, now that money's just going to be made in Center City. The only thing I don't agree with there is that you're still having that arena downtown, down at the sports complex. You still have the other arenas and the other stadiums down at the sports complex. You still have Xfinity Live, you still have the casino and all that. But the other part of it is now that you're bringing 20,000 people into the city to then disperse throughout to spend their money. So more people are getting a piece of that pie.
Okay.
So that's where I think it really helps the economic development. Like, put it like this. I know people have a lot of opinions about Baltimore. Okay. But I remember Baltimore before Camden Yards was in Baltimore. And Baltimore right now is a luxury hotel resort compared to what it was before Camden Yards was down there. So that's an example of economic development. Then you also think about M&T Bank Stadium going down there in Baltimore. Another casino opened up down there with the Horseshoe in the Inner Harbor there. It's a lot different than what it was 20 years ago, even 25 years ago. So for me, I am for a downtown stadium, but my questions come in is the city of Philadelphia going to be ready for it?
I got to tell you, that's the best argument I think I've heard for a downtown stadium, Mark. Seriously. Yeah. If you go to San Diego, for instance, San Diego's not Philly. Nothing is Philly. And this is why I hate comparisons, but I'm just trying to give an idea. The idea of going to Petco Park and then right there's the Gaslamp District. The idea of having a Center City Stadium, other than a mall, okay, let's just get that out of the way too. You have a mall there right now, so it's dead space. The idea of having a downtown stadium that people walk into Old City from there, people walking into 13th and Locust from there, people walking into actual Center City, people walking down to Rittenhouse Square. Like, it just gets spread out, and it's like your city gets put on this display. And it's not just about going to a game and leaving. It's about going to a game. Before the game, you grab lunch, or you grab an early dinner, or you grab a dinner after the game. You're in the city. And that's why I think it comes down more so to the people that are going to be in charge of transporting a lot of these people and protecting a lot of these people. Yeah.
That's why my questions are more so directed at the city and our city officials, more so than it's directed at the 76ers and just in general an arena being built.
All right. It makes sense. All right. Listen, I know our time is limited here as we record this, so just a couple more quick questions, then I'm going to let you go. As we said, you do that Locked On Phillies postgame show. As we record this, the Phillies played the Blue Jays in the afternoon, and Bryce Harper got hit by a pitch. Is there any word on what's going on with him?
So according to Rob Thompson after the game, now this is one thing for reference. It has been reported. I mean, Bryce Harper said it, so it's not like it's really a report. Bryce Harper said he's already dealing with a bad elbow.
Yeah.
He's already dealing with a bad wrist. So then he goes up to Toronto, gets a couple of hits in game one, and then looks bad on his last strikeout in game one of the two games in Toronto. Game one, drops the bat.
Yeah.
Very dramatic. And then today gets hit, Wednesday gets hit by the pitch in the elbow. So, yeah, concern. And then after the game, Rob Thompson said if he really needed to keep going, he would have kept going, but it was precautionary to take him out of the game. He said after the game, he's fine.
Okay.
I am of the school, hey, guys, I'm of the school. Hey, I know Alec Boehm is banged up right now, too. Nick Castellanos just took a ball off the calf, but he was a DH in this final game against the Brewers, or excuse me, the Blue Jays. If Kyle Schwarber can just keep hitting home runs, you won't need anybody else in this offense. So if you could give Bryce Harper a day off to ice up, take an ice bath or something, let's have him do that.
Or you know what? Even if
you're going to need him
even
for the
if
rest
you got,
of September.
Even if you got to put him on the 10-day IL, get it out of the way now, right? Right?
Yeah. Well, so here's the thing: you got 7 games left against the New York Mets. I would, if I'm the Phillies, I don't know if I designate, but I would go day to day.
Got it. Yeah.
If I'm the Phillies,
makes sense.
I would plan on giving him 2 days off in a row again. Ice it up, do what you got to do, medically speaking, and then take it from there. That's the way I think the Phillies should handle it going forward with Bryce Harper. But knowing the Phillies and knowing Bryce Harper, he's probably just going to run through brick walls continuously until he can no longer do it.
Probably. All right. Last thing I want to ask you about. I want to turn to the Eagles because as this gets released on Friday at noon, just hours after that, it's game 1 with the Eagles and Packers in Brazil. I guess. Why is the NFL trying to force feed this to us? You hear all these stories about how volatile it is. The players can't leave the hotel rooms. And then you got the stories about wildfires and the air quality may not be great. Mark, why are they doing this? Is it why?
Because I'll tell you exactly why. All right. Roger Goodell is all about global domination. Okay. This is not about the National Football League. This is about, I don't know if there'll ever be anything other than the NFL, but Roger Goodell wants a GFL. He wants a global football league. This guy is so unbelievably ambitious. And I remember, Jason, too, it wasn't that long ago that people were telling me I was crazy for saying that Roger Goodell is going to extend the season to 17 games. People telling me I was crazy that he was going to go to an 18-week schedule.
I remember that, yeah.
Well, guess where we are now?
Yeah.
We're in a 17-game schedule. We're in an 18-week schedule. I do not think that we are very far away from a 20-week NFL schedule with 2 bye weeks. I don't think we're that far from a team in London. Roger Goodell,
I could see that.
His mark on the game is that he wants the NFL. He wants to be what Daniel Stern was to the NBA. He wants to be David Stern was to the NBA, excuse me. He wants the global game. He wants that 92 dream team that was the greatest billboard for the game of basketball in the NBA in the history of the NBA. That's where we are now in the game of basketball. Just watch the Olympics and teams battling the USA down to the wire. Eventually, Roger Goodell wants that for the National Football League, for the NFL, for American football, for football Americano to be recognized throughout the entire globe. That's his goal. Because why? Well, why would I want to market to just one country when I can market to several countries? That's his idea. That's why we're doing it. We're not doing this because Philadelphia fans are just dying to see the team play in Brazil. We're not doing it for that reason. We're doing it because Roger Goodell wants to continue to expand the NFL. The man is the most ambitious commissioner I can remember in my lifetime, certainly in the NFL.
Is ambitious really the right word?
Brazil. It's just going to keep on going. Greedy, ambitious.
Greedy, look, there you go. That's better.
I mean, look, you read some of his stuff and you think you're reading Julius Caesar's Gallic entries. You know what I mean? That's a highbrow reference. Sorry.
That really is, man.
That's what Roger Goodell wants to do. I know. I apologize. I'm on this big Roman Empire kick.
That's like over my head, man.
I can't remember the Gallic journals. Oh, I can't remember. But anyway, Roger Goodell just wants to keep on expanding the league.
All right, listen, I know that this is kind of a quickie podcast as we're recording this on Wednesday evening. I know you've got to run. I appreciate you carving out some time for me. Can I ask you right now, I'm going to put you on the spot. Can I bring you back for episode 22 and we'll do a full episode?
Well I'm telling you, I'll tell you, let's get some time on Thursday and let's do part 2. Let's just do it, man.
All right.
Let's just do it. Even if I got to send you a link, let's just do it. Because I don't want to shortchange you. I apologize. I thought the last time we did that, I could have sworn we only did like 20 minutes or something. That's my mistake.
No.
But let's do a part 2, bro.
It's all good. But
you get me before the Phillies. Get me before the Phillies game. All right. And let's do a 2-hour show. Jay, let's do a 2-hour show. Let's do an intermission.
See,
people can grab some popcorn, and then they'll come back.
But Mark, I'm like you. I got like a million jobs. I don't know if I have time for that tomorrow before the Phillies game. So, but we'll talk. But if we can't hook that up, then we'll reconvene for episode 22 in a couple of weeks. If you're good with that.
I am good with that, my friend. I promise you that.
And I'm telling you right now, whenever we talk again, whether it's tomorrow or whether it's 2 weeks from now. Be prepared with a Frank Sinatra song, okay?
All right, then you be prepared with the reverb on the microphone, okay?
And
Tell your executive producer there.
And I'll do
another old blue eyes.
I'll do a Sid Mark intro. You know, maybe I'll read a spot for the PNS Ravioli Company, right? And then I'll intro you doing Frank Sinatra, okay?
And don't forget Laurel Hill Cemeteries. Don't forget that. That was always my favorite one. It was just like, wow, there's a lot of cemetery and funeral homes. I wonder. Oh.
Yeah, as Sid got older, it was a lot of cemeteries and like Medicare and commercials for incontinence, I think. But that's
where to get the best caskets.
There you go.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
Do you want your loved one moisturized? What? I'm sorry. What? Huh? Anyway. No, always great seeing you, friend.
Dude, it's always a pleasure, Mark, and we will catch up again soon, I hope. If not 24 hours from when we're recording this, well, at some point in the next couple of weeks. All right, man?
All right, here's my other idea. You just video yourself asking questions, and then I'll just play off them. I'll answer it, and we'll splice it together.
You know what?
Through the magic of television.
Look, that's what they do in radio these days, don't they? They kind of piece together stuff and put it on the air, right?
Most commercials, actually.
Yeah.
I went there too. It was terrible. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Anyway. No, Jason, great seeing you, buddy. Thanks, man.
Hey, Mark, always great to see you, man, and we will catch up soon, all right? Take care, bud.
Sounds good.
All right. And everybody, thank you for tuning in to quick episode 21 of the Philly Sports Convo. We will see you with Marc Farzetta next time.